Hi everyone, and welcome to Trash to Treasure Tuesday. You might be wondering why I'm wearing an elf apron and have a gingerbread house, or if you know me, you're not wondering at all. That's just me. Well, it's Trash to Treasure Tuesday. I had some stuff that's just about trash because Christmas is come and gone, but I thought it'd be fun to turn it into a little summer treasure. So I'm going to show you some fun techniques that come along with making a gingerbread house. And one of the reasons that this is a Trash to Treasure project is you may think that once Christmas is come and gone, there's no reason to have a gingerbread house. It's a one and done time of year kind of thing, but not really. The really cool thing about gingerbread houses is that they're good for any season. You can decorate them anyway. And they're actually kind of fun because I don't know how things are at your house, but at my house it seems like Christmas is kind of a busy time of year. I hate to say hectic because I love Christmas. Also, with all the other decorations, maybe you don't have room to put up a gingerbread house. That's always a challenge as well. So it's kind of fun to give it a new theme. Instead of a lovely little holiday house for Christmas, maybe it becomes a haunted house for Halloween, or an Easter cottage for a springtime decoration. The possibilities are endless. You're only limited by your imagination, right? So if you didn't get to the library to pick up a kit, there's probably some kits still left at the library. You can pick them up between 9 and 4:30 in the vestibule. And the only thing that is required is that you sign up for the summer reading program. And if you haven't signed up for summer reading already, shame on you. You're going to be on Santa's naughty list because you haven't signed up. Sign up for the Adult Summer Reading Program, and every time we do a Trash to Treasure Tuesday, there will be some sort of little treasure out there to help you do the project. And it's one of these kits if you haven't picked it up already. So in your kit, you will find a lovely bag of frosting, icing, glue, whatever you want to call it. You'll find your gingerbread structure and a few other little goodies that we may or may not use. And again, it's entirely up to you how you want to decorate your house. It is your house, it's your theme. Let your imagination run wild, right? I will say that I could not find expiration dates on any of the product, either on the box or on the contents. So I'm going to recommend that you don't eat this, okay? If you decide to eat it, you are eating it at your own risk. And truthfully, unless you were going to eat stuff right after you make it, who wants to eat a gingerbread house after it's sat out for a few days, right? Only small children. I'm going to show you a few techniques for making gingerbread houses, some ideas, and then we're going to let you run wild with your creativity. And I'm actually going to let my daughter finish ours up because one, she whined and cried and wanted to do it, and two, she has way more artistic ability than I do. So let me give you a couple tips about making a gingerbread house. So one of the fun things about a gingerbread house is just being able to let your creativity run wild. And it really doesn't take a whole lot because you can just go through the kitchen and the candy jars and the cookie jars and whatever and see what you have on hand to turn into a fun decoration. So I went through my cupboards and I found some pumpkin spice filled baking truffles. I'm not even sure how these ended up in my cupboard. They are good until July, so I thought, well, I'll get them out, and they're kind of a fun little square shaped and a different color. I'm not sure what we'll turn those into, but that's maybe something fun. We had a leftover bag of jelly beans from Easter. Not really sure how that happened. You can always use those for different things. You could maybe coat these with frosting and turn them into rocks, or cut them in half and make them into shrubbery. We have chocolate chips. Chocolate chips are always wonderful because, again, you can glue these together and make different structures. They work nice as shingles on the top of your house, or to kind of line anything you might want to. So if you've got some chocolate chips laying around. I had some different sprinkles. Oh, here they are right here. And these are some pineapples. Don't even know where we got these or why we have these, but they might be fun. Every year at the grocery store, they always mark these down right after the holidays. I always look at the expiration date, and then if they're good for a while, I'll snatch them up. So I have some Halloween themed ones here. I have some red, white, and blue, which would work for, you know, all of our patriotic holidays. And then I just had some fun, funky colors. Leftover candy, if you've got any leftover candy laying around. You can always grab those up and just, you know, kind of think about what you want to do. I always love having the gumdrops, and there are some gumdrops in there, or some jellies, because these are nice. You can actually cut these and shape them into different things. Gummies also work very well for that, fruit roll-ups. You can kind of get creative and sort of mold them and work with them however you want. Cookies are always a good thing. You can kind of cut cookies, or crush the cookies up so that you have dirt, or maybe a texture on your roof if you want something a little different. Again, you're only limited by your imagination. One of the first things that will help in your gingerbread construction, particularly when you're all done, is preparing an area that you're actually going to work or construct your house on, and ideally leave your house on. I've simply taken a piece of foam board, covered it in foil. This is going to be my work surface, and it'll also help me to be able to move the gingerbread house to its final location. And you can also kind of, what I like to call, prep the foundation, which is actually, we're going to put some frosting along the bottom of this to kind of hold our gingerbread construction in place. Now, when you go to put your actual pieces together, your front pieces and your sides and your roof, you're going to want to use a frosting that's a little bit thicker and stiffer than what you might actually use to pipe on and do little decorations like windows, or you know, maybe the shingles on the top, any kind of roofing decoration. For that, you'll want something that's a little thinner, a little more pliable or easy to work with. Some people get really serious about it, and you can melt actual granulated sugar with a little bit of water or corn syrup. You get that really hot, like you melt it liquid, and you use a pastry brush to brush it on and slap your stuff together really quick, and it dries like glue. I'm not gonna get that fancy today. You don't need to get that fancy today, but if you want to, go ahead. So that's one way to glue your structure together. We're just going to use some regular white frosting. You can use what's in your kit. It will work okay. The one thing that I will recommend is that once you glue your structure together, frost your structure together, let it dry. You can put it in the refrigerator. It helps it to dry out quicker. If you want to do that, do it that way, or let it sit for about an hour or so to really let it set up before you start decorating the rest of it. Because if that frosting in between your glue hasn't had time to dry, then your structure is going to fall apart. You'll be putting on little shingles or planting your pretty little bushes out front, and your structure will fall down, and you'll be very frustrated very quickly. One of the other things I'm going to show you is, again, your kit comes with a fancy little gold bag. Where is that fancy little gold bag? But you're just going to clip the corner, and it's already in a squeezy bag. But let's say you want to do some other colors. Let's say you're going all out. You're going to make a gingerbread mansion, and you want some other colors. You want to add some other things with a pastry bag. They sell these relatively cheap. You can get these at Walmart. I've seen them at the dollar store. They're lovely. They look like this, and you put your frosting in there, and then you can pipe it however you want to. And we're going to do that in a minute. That's how I'm going to pipe the icing down the edges of my structure. If you don't have a pastry bag, maybe you don't want to buy them, maybe you want to do this right now and get it done. One of the other things you can do is a good old-fashioned trick that my great-grandma showed me. Let me see if I still have the knack for it, because obviously you can tell I cheat. Is to take a piece of wax paper, kind of grab it with your thumb, and if you roll it just right, which I'm not going to be able to do now because I'm wanting to show people how to do it, but if you roll it just right, you can actually make your own pastry bag Gotta get that corner looped over. That's the hardest part. Let me get it going. Ah, we'll get it. There we go. There we go. It's coming. It's taking form now. So I practiced, and now I got the paper kind of folded up funky. If I just done it straight out, I would have had a better shot at it. But if you roll it around just like that, you can make an actual cone shape. Then you will put the frosting, fill the frosting inside, clip just a little end, and then you'll gather the top like that, and you'll have a pastry bag. So you can do that with a sheet of wax paper. Pretty easy. You can also use a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bags work nice. You just cut the corner off and kind of do the same thing. Now, one of the really cool things is it's tougher to do with the wax paper. You can't really do it too well with the wax paper. You can try. If you tape it off, it might be okay. And if you have a plastic bag, or if you have a fancy pastry bag, one of the easy ways to fill it, love this. This is one of my favorite tricks. Take a glass, put your pastry bag or your Ziploc bag down into the glass, carefully. Fold the rest of your glass or your bag over your glass, and then boom, just like that, it's ready to fill. We can just spoon our frosting right down in there without a lot of mess, which is why I like these bags. I like the cost effectiveness of the wax paper and just rolling it around. But it's certainly not as easy or convenient as this is to fill, and this is really easy. The other thing I like is if you use a plastic bag or a Ziploc bag, it's very, very easy to get your excess or your leftover frosting out of there fairly easily. You'll just run your fingers down, squeeze it all out back into a bowl. So once you were done piping your stuff together, if you wanted to use the icing for something else, maybe tinted a different color, it's relatively easy to get back out of the bag, which it's not as easy with the wax paper. So, you know, cheap versus easy, right? It's always the battle. So then once you have this in your pastry bag, you're just going to work it a little farther down. And remember, you're always gonna want to start at the top and work it down so that you're not squeezing out the top. And I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and snip off the end, and then we're going to lay out our structure. We're going to start laying out our structure, and we know that we want to kind of get the sides to kind of go together like this on the back. That'll give it some nice sturdiness, and it's kind of even curved in here a little bit so that you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to lay a line. Maybe I'll set this back just a little bit on my foil so that I can maybe do a little fancy walk. Well, I'm not. My daughter's going to make maybe like a little fancy walkway or something like that. So I'm going to put this just ahead of where I'm actually going to set it, and I'm going to make a line with my frosting so that I can kind of just make sure that that gets set up real good when I go to put this together. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to lay this right where I want it. I'm going to scoot it up just a little bit, and I'm going to put another line of frosting right along there so that I know that will set up well. And then I'm going to take my side that I'm going to glue together, and I'm just going to pipe some frosting right along that. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on this edge right here. I'm going to pipe that frosting right along the edge so that my edges are here and here. And I'm now going to just put them down in those lines of frosting that I just made, and put the two corners together. And I also, I cheated, because I do that, you know. I put mine on a Lazy Susan, because I'm, you know, lazy AJ. It will actually, once you start to decorate, if you have a Lazy Susan, and I just yanked mine off my dining room table, threw all my stuff on my dining room table, took my Lazy Susan, so that when I'm decorating later, I can kind of spin that around. So look, I can even turn it around. Look, I'm like Vanna on the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, ding, ding. Yeah, you know, not at all. And you're going to repeat then with the other two sides. That same sort of thing. Why is that weird? Oh, because I'm looking at it wrong. That doesn't look right. What if I turned it right? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trace those lines where I want my pieces to lay, and I'm going to glue the ends, the sides, and then I'm going to let that sit for probably maybe 15 minutes. Let it get good and set up because the roof portion is bigger and heavier, and I just want to make sure that when I add that roof that, you know, the whole thing doesn't go tumbling down when the walls come tumbling down. So I'm going to glue those together. We're going to let it sit and then put on the roof pieces. And we're just going to, again, repeat the process that we've already done. You can see I've already done that on the other side. We're just running our icing right up that top, right on those edges. You can see we're just going to run that right on those edges and place our roof piece right on there. And I'm having a hard time seeing it from this angle. I know I want to show you, but make sure that I get it on there. And then once we have that on there, you can kind of fill in that top part. That will help it hold a little bit better. Just kind of run a nice little bit of glue right down the middle of that. And then, like I said, you can put this in the refrigerator and let it set up. You can just let it air dry for about a half hour. Let it get good and kind of sturdy before you start decorating. And you'll have less frustration. You won't have, like that, you won't have stuff falling apart. So we're going to let this set up, and then I'm going to let Katie start decorating. So here is our finished gingerbread house. Katie has designed a beach themed house, so I guess our holiday theme is a vacation cottage. We'd love to see what you imagined. Please share your pictures by emailing them reference@kingsvillelibrary.org. And remember that if you send us a picture, we'll enter you in the Pick a Prize drawing. All you have to do is get your free gingerbread kit, is pick it up in the vestibule between 9 and 4:30, Monday through Friday at the library, and be signed up for the Adult Summer Reading Program. If you're not signed up, make sure that you get signed up. You can do that by calling or emailing the library as well. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share so that your friends can become our friends. Remember, stay safe, stay well, practice that good social distancing, and we'll see you real soon.